basically, yes, the wins would be now supplying big retail like Boxer superstores and Spar, and also the street vendors, expanding to another 1 hectare of land, of which I have also planted. Currently speaking, I have potatoes, yes, potatoes there, and also I have butternut.
That's great.
So that is also, I mean, a highlight for
Another
me.
win, yes.
You don't know how much you've inspired me. Your ambition, your confidence, your drive, it has inspired me.
Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Gwanda Nyazeka. If it's your first time here, we are talking about everything: entrepreneurship, financial education, running your own business, as well as agriculture or farming. I'm not in Johannesburg, but I'm in the Eastern Cape, the home of legends. Yeah, and I'm going to have an interview with Miss Yamkela Mboko. She's going to tell us about her farming journey, having only started farming last year, but she's already supplying the big stores such as Spar and Boxer stores, as well as the street vendors. And I was lucky to meet her this morning while she was making delivery to Boxer stores as well as the street vendors. She's going to tell us about that. So if it's your first time here, please make sure you subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. It's greatly appreciated. Please continue telling your friends to come and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hello, Miss Yamkela Mboko.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming to our space and allowing us to come into your farm. It's great to be here, and I always say that I'm happy when I see young people taking part in agriculture. You know, it makes me happy and it inspires me and motivates me to also do something.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much for having me.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to tell you what I know about her before she introduces herself and elaborates on what I'm going to mention. So Miss Yamkela Mboko, she's a farmer. She farms here in the small town of Qumbu in the Eastern Cape, in a village called Makhaladini. She's a farmer. She's also having qualification in agriculture. She's also working full-time as an agricultural inspector. Yeah, thank you so much. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about yourself? Who is Yamkela Mboko? What are you doing, and what were you doing before you decided to come into farming?
Thank you so much, Kwanda. And also, I just want to greet your fellow followers in YouTube. So, my name is Yamkela Mboko. I am a young female aspiring farmer. I am all the way from in a small town in the Eastern Cape called Qumbu. Qumbu Idolop. That's how we mention it, Qumbu Idolop. So, Kwanda, just to brief you about myself, I was born and bred in the Eastern Cape, in Qumbu, in a small location called Makhaladini location, of which is there when I decided to start my farming journey.
Yes.
Which I started last year, which is the year of 2020 in November.
Yes. That's great. That's great. You know, it's an incredible story. Having only started last year, but you are already supplying big stores. You know, can you please tell us, how did it start? How did it start? Have you always had interest in agriculture? I believe you always had interest in agriculture, given the fact that you also do have a formal qualification in agriculture. Tell us about that. How did it start?
Yes, I do agree on that point in terms of it started with passion.
Yes.
And when I went to school to university, I did it with intention because I do love agriculture. So agriculture was my first choice of study.
Yes.
So I studied agriculture at Nelson Mandela University, of which I finished graduated in 2014.
Yes.
Then in 2015, I then went into the working for a company, of which it was an exporting company.
Yes.
So I worked there, but I was on a contract basis.
Yes.
So I was working full time 6 months, and then 6 months I was at home, which is now no work.
Yes.
So I was not permanently employed.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Up until now.
Okay. That's great. And then you decided to start your own farming.
Yes, that is correct. So I decided to start my own farming the year 2020 because, as you can know, that a lot was happening in 2020. There was the pandemic,
Yes.
and a lot was just new, and
Yes.
in our country. So having had also the misfortune of not finding a permanent job,
Yes.
you see, so I decided now, I mean, after 5 years of looking for a permanent job, I decided to start this small project back at home.
Yes.
So, which is what I decided to do, and then I started in 2020.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's when I found the guts to start.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. And
Yes.
basically starting with what you have wherever you are.
That is correct. I started with 2 gardens, of which I borrowed from my mother, because back at home they usually plant like maize
Yes.
in the garden. So I did approach them at home, and then they said, no, go for it if you feel it's what you want to do, of which I felt it's what I wanted to do, because
Yes.
I wanted to see if really this is something that I'm passionate about. I mean,
Yes.
I took it as trial and error. As you know that, Kwanda, in farming it's a risk.
That's true.
It's a
That's
risk,
true.
and you have to take the risk, and you have to go for it. I mean, if it's you have to just to take that step forward and take action, because for me, for this project to initially start last year, I had been thinking about it.
Yes.
And when I would go through maybe my social media, and I would see my fellow peers starting
Yes.
farming, and so I was very much inspired.
Yes.
Very much inspired, I must say. So I decided, no, let me give also myself that push to start
Yes.
this journey, of which here we are
Great.
today.
That's great. And I like the fact that you didn't say you need many hectares of land where you're going to start your farming journey. You decided to use what you have, and now I'm sure now when you're looking back, and like you are already supplying big stores as well as your street vendors, so many families, they are eating your produce.
Yes.
That's great. We are learning so much, young people, that in order for you to start farming, you don't need many hectares of land. You can basically start using the garden that you maybe have. That's great. And another thing that we are also learning from you is the fact that while you were sitting at home, you didn't sit and say that, okay, I'm not finding a job, I'm not going to do anything, but you said that I'm going to do something, which I believe it's one of the situations that a lot of young people find themselves in, where you are seated at home, you do have a qualification, but you're not finding employment. But yourself, you said that I'm going to do something, and it's giving you so much, supplying big stores. It's not something small, and given that you are coming from a village where a thing of this nature has never been done before, that's great.
That is true.
That's great.
That is true. I think so. Just to add on that, because as you say, I decided to just think out of the box,
Yes.
because sometimes we as graduates, we tend to think that, no, I now have a graduate, I have a certificate, let me look for a job, or
Yes.
maybe I can't work in a garden, or I can't do weeding at home, or I can't just start.
Yes.
And just give yourself time and just put that certificate aside. I'm not saying that one should not look for a career, if one feels that they do want,
Yes.
because at the end of the day, no one can start farming without money.
That's
That
true.
is quite impossible, if I may say so myself.
Yes.
But in the meantime, start just teach yourself and put yourself in a position that a permanent job will find me on the way.
Yes.
Of which that has happened for me. I am
That's
a
great.
testimony of that.
Yes.
Because it is only last year when I decided to start this project, and then I was employed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I found employment on a permanent basis, of which
great.
now I decided for myself, now I have this project aside, and now I've just found this permanent employment now with a different company. What do I do?
Yes.
Do I stop what I've started, or do I continue? Of which I decided, let me continue.
Yes.
Because I mean, I saw now I can, I
Do it.
love what I can do
Yes.
it, and I love what I'm doing.
Yes, that's
Yes.
great. That's great. We're also learning from your story that Like I always say, that sometimes opportunities, they have a tendency of finding those who are already on the dance floor and those who are already moving, you know,
That is true.
because you got a permanent job, you know, and congratulations for
Thank you
that.
so much.
When you just started your farming journey, that's great. That's great. So I want you to now introduce Kellar's farming. Tell us, what is it about? What do you do there?
Thank you so much. Well, Kellar's farming was established in 2021.
Yes.
After I had mentioned that before, now I started the project initially in November 2020.
Yes.
And then having seen now the opportunity
Yes.
and the gap in the market, especially in this local community of mine and also in the local town, which is Qumbu.
Yes.
Qumbu town. So I saw that, you know what, there was a lot of support of which I received from my town, from my, you know, from my people.
Yes.
So I thought, let me make this official, and then that was how Kellar's farming was born.
Yes.
So the name Kellar, it's actually Kellar's farming.
Yes.
So it means, because my name is Yamkela, right?
Okay.
So I named it in honor of my late father,
Yes.
of which he used to say, he used to use the nickname
Kellar.
Kellar's, you know,
Okay.
Kellar's when he was calling me. And then later in 2015, I was blessed enough to have a daughter, of which now my daughter, when she was starting to also to learn to speak,
Kellar,
she said she couldn't pronounce my whole name,
Yes.
so she said Kellar. So I
Yes.
thought, okay, this name is actually meaningful to me. Then I
Yes.
decided my first project, the name of this company, I will name it Kellar.
Kellar's,
Then
yes.
that was the birth of Kellar. So basically, Kellar's farming is a 100% black-owned female farming company, of which I farm vegetable crops, your cabbage, your spinach, all kinds, your beetroot, yes,
Yes.
and your butternuts.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's great. That's great. So I do have a feel that you've always wanted to come into this space. So tell us, how long did it take you before you decided, like, let me start, you know? And did you like do research there and try to get information before you actually came into the space?
100%, yes, I did. Research, I believe so much in research before you do something.
Yes.
That was what I did.
Yes.
And one of the things that helped me a lot, I must put it out, that it was social media.
Yes.
Facebook, YouTube. I did a lot of research because I believe that it is much better to see a particular person like similar to your situation,
Yes, yes.
like our peers doing what I want to pursue, you see.
Yes.
So that was also one of the drives behind the action that I decided to take,
Yes.
you see, into opening up now this project, which is Kellar's farming. So I did a lot of research. I read about the different varieties of like the crops,
Yes.
because you find out in every crop, for instance, you must know the climate
Yes.
of which you are in, because we also work under conditions, setting the temperatures,
Yes.
and also now what you want to plant. You see, your crop, maybe you want to plant your cabbage, then you must know, okay, which type of cabbage is going to be suitable for this type of environment.
Yes.
So those were the kinds of research that I engaged myself in. And also there are platforms such as podcasts and YouTube channels such as yours.
Yes.
You see, so I don't sleep on that. I don't
Yes.
sleep on that type of platform, of opportunity, and of knowing and learning from other people
Yes.
who have walked this road
Yes.
before.
Yes.
And also I just need to highlight the fact that within this journey, because currently I'm sitting now in a year having started.
Yes.
So along the journey, I've also had, I would say, there are acquaintances or farming friends or acquaintances along
Yes.
the way, local farmers. So basically, that is also big. I'm also big on learning from the people that have done
Around
and
you,
worked around
yes.
me. Yes,
That's
and
great.
also mentorship. I must highlight mentorship. I do have a couple of mentors who also, I mean, if I am stuck with something now, I don't know, this is an insect, I don't know what it is now.
Yes.
I research for myself, maybe I don't understand it
Still, yes.
still, then I just call a
Someone,
particular
yes.
individual, then we need one another in farming. You can't do it yourself.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. You're reminding me something that was said by another farmer, Inga. He said that this space is very collaborative, and that's what I'm getting from you.
100%.
You know, and we just learned a lot of things from what you just said. You know, one being that before you do anything, you need to first do your research and understand the ins and outs of the space that you want to be in, as well as the fact that you also highlighted the importance and the power of social media,
That is
you know,
correct.
for young farmers, you know. So it shows that a lot of young farmers are now using the social media to sort of push the agriculture content, you know, which is great, you know, to hear that you as well, you also learned in platforms such as your Facebook and YouTube, you know. So it tells you that if you are a farmer out there and you want to start farming, you can also use the power of social media to your advantage. That's great. That's great. We also learned the fact that the importance of mentorship, having people around you that are going to educate you.
Yes.
That's great. What has been your biggest lesson? You know, you are like about a year in the farming journey. What has been your biggest lesson and your biggest like your wins and losses in your farming journey?
Okay. Well, basically, one of my biggest lessons in farming thus far has been just to try and be humble.
Yes.
Always. I mean, that is my biggest lesson, because you might never know who is watching you.
Yes.
That is point number one, because now we are in the space of social media.
That's true.
So whatever you put out there, it matters.
Yes.
So remain humble, love the people, because those are the people that love you back.
Yes.
And those are the people that want to see you win.
Yes.
And move forward into your passion, if I may put it like that. So those are the biggest lessons. Another biggest lesson is that you must listen to your customers.
Yes.
You know, because if you, for example, you are a farmer and then you produce and then you expect maybe to sell your type of vegetable crop for a particular price, and then you see that it's not
growing.
Yeah, it's not growing on it, or it's not of high quality.
Yes.
Then you know that communication has also been a form of, you know, my lesson.
Learning, yes.
Yeah, learning for me, and to just listen to what the consumer wants. And you must know that the consumer, they eat with their eye.
Yes.
So if your produce is nice, if your produce is appealing to the naked eye, I mean, yeah, you are winning.
That's
Are
great.
winning. And yeah, basically one of the biggest losses, I must say, is, you know, sometimes we do have bad weather in the Eastern Cape.
Yes.
So that I think would be one of the major
Presented to
losses.
the loss,
And
yes.
also farmer, as I would put it in my social media.
Yes.
I understand myself to be such. So I am still learning, Gwanda. I'm still learning. I'm also still learning the challenges that I face,
Yes.
like the pests that destroy my crop, you see.
Yes.
So it has also been a challenge,
Yes.
a whole lot. And also irrigation has also been
A problem.
has been a problem. But yeah, as you would see that I did try to combat
Improvise,
that. Yeah,
yes.
and improvise
Yes.
that.
Okay. That's great. And then now come tell us about the wins. You know, I've seen a lot. You've achieved quite so much. You know, when I saw the quality of your cabbage and spinach, you know, not even a single person can actually say that this is just a beginner or someone who just started last year. You know,
Yes.
the weight, it was so heavy and so big. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to lie. I've never seen such a big cabbage.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I like it, the fact that it's by a beginner, someone who just started,
Yes.
you know.
That is true.
Yeah, so can you tell us, how did you achieve that? Like the wins are having to supply the big stores,
Yes.
you know, and the street vendors, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just forgot now to mention that even while I started last year, I wanted to be a street vendor myself.
Yes.
I just need to highlight that.
Yes.
Because I mean, I like to put myself in the shoes of now. Okay, I did produce this crop.
Yes.
Now I did handle it. Now I need to know how to sell it and put it out to the people.
Definitely.
So that is what I decided to do firstly. As
Yes.
also a learning curve in this journey
That's
of
true.
mine.
That's true.
So that when I supply the street vendors, or when I supply Spar and Boxer superstores, I know exactly, like, from their point of view, what
yes.
they are looking for and what the consumer expects.
expecting.
You see,
Yes.
so basically, yes, the wins would be now supplying big retail like Boxer superstores and Spar, and also the street vendors, because
Yes.
I don't wanna just discard them, because I mean, my brothers and sisters, they selling,
Yes.
they support us a lot
Yes.
as startup farmers. I
Yes.
don't want to lie. So those were my wins.
That's great.
Yes,
That's
yes,
great. Congratulations. for
Thank
that.
you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm also still currently
Supplying them even
supplying them even now, and as a result, now my name is getting to be known and
Yes.
more and more. And yeah, there are bigger projects and officials that are aligning with me, trying to align with me
Yes.
as we speak. But then that is still under the radar. I can't
Yes.
say much. But then it is a
No,
win.
yes,
It
that's
is a
great.
win on its own.
Yes,
Yes, but it's still yet to be revealed. And also another win for me, I would say that seeing the youth in my community coming to learn from me,
Yes.
now the respect that I am receiving, because it started as, okay, what is she doing? Because no one has actually done this before. Even
Yes.
myself, I didn't know. But then just the power of pushing and going forward and trusting your vision, because
Yes.
it's only you that can execute what you see.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think that has also been humbling for me to see the youth learning and acquiring skills
From you,
from me,
yes.
you see. So yeah, that has also been part of my win in 2020 and 2021
That's
as we
great.
speak. And also now my other win has been the volumes that are growing. And also I am expanding to another 1 hectare of land, of
That's
which I
great.
have also
That's
planted. Currently speaking, I have potatoes, yes,
yes.
potatoes there, and also I have butternut.
That's great.
So that is also, a highlight for
Another
me.
win. Yes.
That's another win
That's
for me.
great. That's great. Congratulations for all of that.
Thank you so
I can't
much.
wait to see you going big and
Thank
big.
you. Thank you so much.
I like the everything that you mentioned, especially the fact that you also wanted to go and be a street vendor so that you can understand and know how to sell. I always
Yeah.
say that entrepreneurship as well as agricultural farming, they go hand in hand,
That is
because
true.
if you are going to be a farmer but you don't know how to sell your produce, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
You are going to have this produce that you have in your farm or in your garden that you can't sell. So it's a good thing that you also wanted to be in the shoes of the entrepreneurs who are on the streets, who are selling. That's great. That's great. That's one of the things that we can take on top of the many things that you just mentioned, right? So can you take us through the process? Now you have produced your cabbage and spinach. How did you get to supply the big stores and the street vendors?
Yeah.
How did it all happen? Did
Okay.
you wake up one morning and like, let me go there?
Okay.
Take us through that.
Okay.